Imagine this. You're fresh out of the academy, still learning the streets, still proving yourself. The badge is new. The weight of the gun on your hip feels heavy, and every call could be the one that tests everything you've trained for. That was the life of Officer Daniel Carter. 8 months on the job, patrolling the unpredictable streets of Westbridge City. He thought he had seen tension. He thought he had faced danger, but nothing could have prepared him for the night that almost ended his career and his life. Daniel Carter was no stranger to pressure. Every shift was a balancing act, earning respect from the veterans while trying not to make rookie mistakes that could put someone's life in danger. He had a reputation for being calm under fire, though his confidence was still fragile. His partner that night was Officer Sarah Vega, a strict, sharp, and seasoned cop who carried herself with authority. Sarah didn't hand out praise easily, but Daniel knew if he could earn her trust, he was on the right track. The night started quietly. A couple of routine traffic stops, a domestic call that resolved without issue, and the endless patrol through Westbridge's neon-lit streets. But then the radio crackled with urgency. Shots fired. Possible officer down. All units respond. In an instant, the calm was shattered. Daniel's adrenaline spiked as he and Sarah tore down the avenue, sirens cutting through the city night. They arrived at an aging apartment complex, already swarming with officers. Residents screamed from their balconies, some recording the chaos on their phones. The air was thick with panic. The situation was tense. Inside the complex, an armed suspect was reportedly barricaded. Officers shouted commands, weapons drawn, searching for any sign of movement. Every shadow looked like a threat. Every sound raised the hairs on Daniel's neck. Then, it happened. Out of the darkness, a figure burst through the side alley, a weapon gleaming under the streetlight. It was only a split second, but to Daniel, it felt like time slowed. The suspect raised the weapon, and Daniel's training kicked in. Without hesitation, he drew his service pistol and fired. The suspect dropped instantly. The weapon clattered across the pavement, spinning into the gutter. Daniel's chest heaved as the scene froze around him. He had done what he was trained to do: neutralize the threat, protect his fellow officers. But almost immediately, doubts began to creep in. The weapon, it didn't look right. It wasn't loaded. It was an old, rusted handgun, with no bullets in the chamber. And now, lying motionless on the ground, the suspect looked less like a hardened criminal and more like a desperate man in over his head. By the time the paramedics arrived, Daniel's mind was racing. Had he just made the biggest mistake of his career? Back at the precinct, internal affairs wasted no time. Daniel was stripped of his weapon and told to wait for questioning. Every detail of his decision was dissected. Why did he fire so quickly? Did he have other options? Could he have de-escalated? The headlines the next morning were brutal. Rookie officer shoots unarmed man. For Daniel, it was a nightmare. Colleagues whispered in the hallways, some supporting him, others shaking their heads. Sarah Vega, his partner, stood by his side, but even she couldn't shield him from the storm. He had been on the force less than a year, and now his future was hanging by a thread. But the truth was far darker than anyone realized. Detectives searching the suspect's apartment uncovered a chilling stockpile: rifles, handguns, boxes of ammunition, and blueprints for a planned ambush on local officers. The man Daniel shot wasn't some innocent caught in the wrong place. He was the front line of a violent plan, one that could have left multiple officers dead that night. The old, empty gun had been nothing more than a decoy, a lure to bait police into lowering their guard. Daniel's shot, the one that nearly ended his career, had actually prevented a bloodbath. Without him, dozens of lives, both officers and civilians, could have been lost. When this evidence came to light, the media frenzy shifted. Daniel Carter went from reckless rookie to the officer who stopped a massacre before it began. The same people who doubted him now praised his instincts. Sarah Vega, once reserved in her judgment, looked him in the eye for the first time and said simply, "You did good, Carter." But for Daniel, The praise meant little. He had felt the weight of that trigger pull, the endless hours of questioning, and the terror of not knowing if his career was over before it had truly begun. He understood something now that no academy could teach. In this job, 1 second could define you forever. And that night, that 1 second made Daniel Carter a survivor. In law enforcement, decisions are made in the blink of an eye. To some, Daniel Carter was just a rookie. But that night, he proved that instinct and courage can matter more than experience. And in the end, his split-second choice didn't just save his badge, it saved lives.